Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock. It's time for another video. Today I'm going to be talking about the Blackpool Magic Convention 2025. Now I'm going to do a couple of videos on this, one this week, one next week. The video next week is going to be a recap of Blackpool as a whole. However, today I want to talk about the 13 best tricks that I saw at Blackpool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, yeah, 13. I couldn't do 10. I tried, but I'm doing 13. These are the 13 best tricks that I saw in the dealer hall at Blackpool Magic Convention 2025. Now, just to let you guys know, any tricks that have my name on them, I've not included in the list. So, Atomic Deck, Big Blind, anything I've brought out with Mark Bennett or TCC or Matthew Wright, none of those are included in the list. These are the 13 best tricks that I saw at Blackpool this year. Now, one thing you need to know, I was very busy at Blackpool this year. I was jumping on about 1,000 different people's dealer stands, so I didn't get a chance to see everything. I didn't go around every single booth. There's a lot of booths that I really wanted to go to that I didn't get a chance to go and see. So there's going to be something, I know there's going to be people saying, what about this? What about that? There's a good chance I didn't see it, because my chance at going around the dealer hall was kind of basically 8 o'clock in the morning before the dealer hall opened. But I did get a chance to see quite a lot, and these are the 13 best tricks that I saw at Blackpool this year. So without further ado, let's count them down, starting at number 13. Okay, so in 13th place, we have Heavy Metal by Chris James and Joel Miranda. Now, Heavy Metal, this is not going to be the only trick on this list, by the way, by Chris James, but this is 13th best. Heavy Metal. So what is Heavy Metal? Well, Heavy Metal is a solid through solid penetration. Now, these have been done before. There's been a lot of different versions. Many, many years ago, you had the Matchbox penetration. Then I think it was Jamie Grant who brought out Industrial Revelation many, many years ago. That's recently been re-released by Vanishing Ink. You've got Hollywood by Hanson Chen. Lots of different versions of this that have come out over the years. And this is Chris James and Joel Miranda's version of that plot. So basically, Heavy Metal is a solid through solid penetration, but with an AirPod case. So you can take an AirPod case, you can do a penetration, show solid going straight through solid, but then the kicker ending is it's solid metal on the inside. Now this is smart, and it's smart for a few different reasons. First of all, it's an everyday object that everybody's aware of, which is awesome. You can just keep them in your pocket and you're good to go. Everybody knows what AirPods are. They're not as heavy as an Industrial Revelation. That was always my problem with Industrial Revelation. It was very heavy. Hollywood got past that issue. But you know, it's wood. This is metal. It's even more impossible. So it's not as heavy, but it's heavy enough, and it takes up no pocket space. And more importantly, like I say, it's an object everybody is aware of, and it's great that you can do this trick that people find impressive, and then you've got this kicker ending. This is one of the best versions of this plot that I've seen. It is really, really good. Now there is another one on this list that's another solid through solid that I would recommend. But that's kind of got a niche audience. This particular one would work for everybody. So this is something that would work for adults, it would work for kids, it would work for everybody. So in 13th position, you have Heavy Metal by Chris James and Joel Miranda. Talking about Joel Miranda, in 12th place, Joel Miranda is back again. In 12th place, we have Joel Miranda with the Universal Smoke Watch. So what is the Universal Smoke Watch? Well, basically, it's another smoke device. Now, I know there have been a million different smoke devices. What makes this one better than the others? Well, I'll be honest with you. I was never a big fan of the original smoke watch that Miranda brought out all those years ago. I bought one. I couldn't really get it to work effectively. I know Nemid, my friend Nemid Phoenix, had a massive issue with his. And when I did manage to make it work, the smoke wasn't great. And I had to carry this fake watch on my wrist, which also wasn't particularly wonderful. And I ended up not using it after a couple of weeks, and since then there's been lots of other devices. Well, this is the best device I've ever seen for producing smoke in a close-up environment, because what it is it's a universal smoke watch. So the gimmick fits underneath a watch band or watch strap, and it fits there nice and comfortably. You could wear it there all the way through a gig or all the way through a night out, but anytime you want to activate the smoke, you can. You just press a button on the device and the smoke will eject, and it thick and there's lots of smoke and it looks absolutely magical, and you're never going to see the gimmick. Now, a couple of things that you need to know about this. First of all, you can set a timer on the thing, which is great, because by setting a timer, it means that you can press the button and you can set a timer for, say, 5 seconds. So you can press the button, vanish a coin, and have the smoke appear and have it vanish. You also get a remote control with this as well. And the remote control can be set up as a timer. So you can have somebody else activate it, you can activate it yourself. There's lots of different options there. And you get the smoke liquid in order to be able to do this. 1 dash of smoke liquid will be more than enough to do like 4 or 5 performances before you have to kind of top it up again. You know, I've always loved the idea of having smoke appear as you vanish something, but I've always kind of thought, well, it's not really going to be practical. I've never found a practical solution. Honestly, this is the best way that I've ever seen of achieving this effect. So it's called Universal Smoke Watch. It is absolutely fantastic. It's the 12th best thing that I saw at the Blackpool Magic Convention 2025. Okay, so in 11th position, we have Mark Bennett. Now, I bought out your round with Mark Bennett this Blackpool, and a lot of people have said how much they've loved it, which is great. But Mark's lead item, the big thing that he was bringing out this Blackpool, was Airflight. Now, Airflight is Mark's way of doing ring flight. Now, if you don't know what ring flight is, it has been around for years and years and years. The idea is that you borrow a spectator's ring, it vanishes, and it appears on your key fob. Now, through the years, there's been lots of different versions. I think that most people would agree up until this point. Prop Dog make the best version of this with their ring flight revolution. And I know a lot of working pros use it. The gimmick is built into a set of keys, right? So that it's there dangling on the keys, and it's a very nice gimmick. What Mark has done is he's built the gimmick into a air tag. Just a Commodore Garden, just a normal air tag, really. The air tag is hanging there on the key fob, and that has got the reel in it. If you don't know how an air flight works or a ring flight works, there's a reel. You borrow the ring, you clip it onto the reel, and then that's how you get a complete instant vanish. It has been a classic amongst close-up workers for many, many years. And honestly, Mark has brought it bang up to date. It's one of those ideas that makes you go, why didn't I think of that? Why did I not think of putting a reel into an Apple AirTag? It just makes logical sense, and it works flawlessly. I have been aware of this product for about a year now. Last time I performed at Smoke and Mirrors, Mark showed it me, and I was super impressed and totally blown away with how good it looks and how good it operates. This sort of thing lives and dies by the quality of the gimmick, and the quality is fantastic. So there you have it. That is next on the list, Airflight by Mark Bennett. If you want a very commercial ring to impossible location, then you could do much worse than picking up that. You can get it from MB Magic. Okay, so next on the list we have Merger by Jack Magic and Chris James. I told you his name was going to appear on the list again. So Merger was one of those tricks that people were talking about during the whole of the convention. Jack Magic, if you don't know, is James Keatley. James Keatley obviously has brought some incredible gimmicks out over the years. And he had the Wonder Kid, Henry Ferris, demonstrating on his stand, because obviously Chris wasn't there. Chris James wasn't there. But they were demonstrating Merger. Now, it's kind of interesting because Merger is actually kind of two tricks combined into one. So Chris brought multiple tricks out with Jack Magic at Blackpool. One of the tricks is Surge and one of the tricks is Transfer. And both of those tricks are credit card based tricks. And when you put the two of them together, you get Merger. And if you buy them as a package, there was extra bonus things and so on and so forth. Now, Transfer, the best way to describe Transfer is it's a little bit like Diamonds Are Forever by Rick Lax, which is one of my favourite card routines of all time. But instead of using playing cards, they're using credit cards. Now, there's a lot more to it than that, but that is the basic description. So in other words, you get two credit cards. You show that the chip is on both of the credit cards. You then take the one credit card, you pull the chip off, and you can make it appear on the other credit card, or you can make them jump around. There's a bunch of different stuff you can do with it. That's Transfer. Now, Surge is the whole idea of taking a credit card and having the chip basically expand on the credit card and then giving it out for examination. And there's a couple of really cool ways that you can do that, including holding it under your phone and zooming in and then coming away and the chip has actually grown. A lot of different ways you can do that, but that's actually a really cool effect. It's very, very cool. The two of them together as a package merger, I know a lot of people were picking this up. And it's the sort of thing that is perfect as an everyday carry, because you can just put those credit cards into your wallet and you're good to go. So if somebody says, hey, can you show me something? You can go, well, I've only really got a couple of credit cards on me. You want me to show you something with these credit cards? And it feels a little bit like Keymaster. One of the reasons that I love Keymaster so much is because they're just on your key fob and you can do it anytime, anywhere. Well, it's the same with this. You just have a couple of cards in your wallet and you are good to go. Chris James really came to Blackpool, even though he wasn't at Blackpool. That's the crazy thing. Chris had so much stuff coming out between merger and transfer and surge and heavy metal and bit chip, and he was everywhere. He was absolutely everywhere, despite not being at the convention. I think that he was one of the MVPs of the Blackpool Magic Convention. I've never seen anyone have that much of an impact at that convention and not even be there. But a lot of people were doing merge. I saw a lot of people showing it to each other in the Ruskin, and that's always a sign of a very popular trick. So there you go. That's the next one on the list, Merger by Jack Magic and Chris James. Okay, so next up we have the wonderful Henry Harrius. And Henry Harrius, just when you think he can't possibly think of another cube gimmick, he comes up with another cube gimmick. Now, he has just released, as of time of filming, a cube trick with Crazy Sam, but that's not what I'm talking about on this list. The next item on this list is Wafer Cube by Henry Harrius. And I always joke with Henry, I say, look, you've brought out every single type of possible cube. There's nothing else you can do with cubes, and then he kind of goes and proves me wrong. This is brilliant. This is the sort of thing that you could do social media. This would look great on social media. Absolutely 100%. But this is also the same sort of thing that you would see in real life. You know, you could perform this in real life and get an amazing reaction with it. It's the sort of thing that you could use to open a set. It's the sort of thing that you could use to close a cube set. And what's really interesting about this is you don't need to solve a cube. Now, I know that a lot of the time when you buy cube gimmicks, the whole pitch is you don't need to solve a cube. But the whole idea behind it is if you accidentally mix the cube up, you're going to have to get an app to teach you to solve it, right? That's not the case here, because it doesn't matter if the cube's solved or not. The effect of Wafer Cube is that you have this cube and you just do this, boom, and it like basically collapses down to about a third of its length, kind of a third of its size. It just looks, the visual is super crazy. You just do, and it just collapses down. And then once it's collapsed down, you then say, well, let's see if we can take this one step further, and you push it again, and now it turns basically into a flat disc with stickers on one side. And it's like you've taken this three-dimensional 3x3 Rubik's Cube and you've turned it into a two-dimensional 3x3 Rubik's Cube. The visual is insane. When I saw Wafer Cube and I said, hey, Henry, what's that? Can you show it to me? And he showed it me. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what the effect was, but I did not expect that. And I remember saying to him, that would be a great closer for a cube set. And it's very, very practical. It's the sort of thing you can do walk around very, very easily. In fact, my plan is to do this in a walk around environment. I love it. So yeah, next on the list, we have Wafer Cube by Henry Harrius. Okay, so next up, we're going to go to the Marvelous Matthew Wright. We're going to go to Marvelous FX, and we're going to look at Amy. Now, Amy is something that's been teased by Matt on social media for the last few months, and a lot of people have been trying to guess what it is or what it isn't. What is Amy? How does Amy work? What is Amy all about? Well, basically, it's augmented reality. And Matt has taken some really cool augmented reality, and he's created this character, Amy, who is basically this virtual assistant that lives on your phone that is there to help you do magic tricks. Now, there's lots of different ways of actually performing Amy. You don't have to actually have this virtual assistant appear on your phone if you don't want to. You can literally just say, let me show you something, and open up your camera, for example. However, if you want to, you can have this virtual assistant, and the way that it's actually designed is you can almost have like a two-person act with this person, so you can have arguments back and forth with her as you're trying to show the people some magic. It's kind of crazy, really. But you're combining augmented reality with physical products or physical props to be able to perform some really crazy stuff. So for an example, there's this one where you have a spectator think of a word, right? And then you bring out a Ouija board and you ask Amy, let's give them a demonstration in Ouija, and she talks about how it's dangerous and so on and so forth. But then you take the camera and you hold it over this little piece of card, which looks like a Ouija board, in the spectator's hand, and they look through the phone and they see the thing moving, like the spirit's communicating with you. And it spells out the word that they're thinking of. The cool thing is when they turn the card over, now it's got that word written on the back. And this is what Matt's been very smart at, and what he's been able to do, which is he's been able to, because augmented reality has been around before, but he's been able to provide physical products. So you see something happening with augmented reality, but then it becomes real. So this other one, for example, where they pick a card and it's a 4 of hearts, and then you bring out a king of hearts and you put it in their hand and they look through it, and the king comes alive and starts plucking hearts out, and it creates the 4 of hearts in the middle of the card. But then when they look at the card in their hand, the card has changed to what they saw happen in the augmented reality. Very, very smart. So the use of physical products along with augmented reality and this virtual assistant Amy really allows you to do quite a lot of really cool stuff. And it has one of the best presentations for the invisible deck that I've ever seen. And I've literally written a project on the invisible deck in the past. I love the invisible deck. And this is one of the best presentations I've ever seen for the invisible deck. It's absolutely incredible. And it's all built into the Amy framework. And I think that a lot of people are going to be using this. I think that it's a fun hook. It's an interesting use of technology combined with traditional methods to do something that's very, very unique. And my hat is off to Matt. He's really tried to do something that's very, very different to what people have seen before. So there you go. That is by Marvellous Matt Wright, and it's Amy. Okay, so next on the list, we have the chair appearance by Wonder Makers. Now, if you don't know who Wonder Makers are, they're the team that brought to you the Boom deck that a lot of people were doing, where the deck kind of explodes and finds the card. This is something completely different. This is called the chair appearance, and this is something that Ryland was obsessed with at the Blackpool Magic Convention. Basically, it's a chair. Now, what's really cool about this chair is people can sit their ass down on it. You can sit down on this chair. You can have a spectator sit down on this chair. And yet, any time at all, absolutely any time at all, you can have a production appear on that chair. And then we're showing a production of a teddy bear, but you can have like a box appear, anything that will kind of fit. You can have it appear on the chair, which is very, very cool when you actually think about it. So, imagine that, it's an illusion, effectively. It's a pack flat, because it does pack very, very flat, because it's effectively a chair. It's an illusion that packs flat, and you can set it up. You can have it there throughout your show, and you can have, at any point you want to, something appearing on that chair. Very cool idea. Very, very, very cool idea. I think that this is the sort of thing that stage performers are going to love. I also think, honestly, that it's the sort of thing that family entertainers and kids show entertainers, if they have the budget for it, because it wasn't cheap, it was like £1.50. But if they've got the budget for it, I think that it's something that kids entertainers and family entertainers would absolutely gravitate towards. But beyond all of that as well, the place I saw, I was thinking this would work brilliantly, is at a wedding fair. If you want to really stand out at a wedding fair, because this thing, you could literally watch it close up. You can't see the appearance happen. It looks amazing. So, imagine that you're doing a wedding fair and you really want to stand out. That's a perfect way. Imagine just getting a Sven pad and just putting a load of different objects in there and making one of them, for example, a teddy bear. Let's say you want to make a teddy bear appear, but you can probably make a bottle of champagne or something appear, make it more relevant to weddings. But you force this object on them, And then once you force the object on them, boom, they watch and it just appears. Talk about a way of making you stand out at a wedding fair above and beyond anyone else they might have seen of. If I was doing wedding fairs on a regular basis, I would be buying this in a heartbeat. Even if you never did it in a gig, this would be absolutely amazing to do at a trade stand, a wedding fair, anything like that. I thought it was brilliant. And I think it's going to have a lot of uses in various different people's shows. So there you go, that's the chair appearance by Wonder Makers. Okay, so next up, by Magic Diamond, we have the solid condom. Now, a lot of people were saying this is a terrible trick. This is the worst trick I've ever seen. Because it's a subject matter that's a little bit taboo. You bring out a pack of condoms and you talk about how you're going to do your favourite penetration effect. Well, right there, that's going to put some magicians off. You know, there's a lot of people out there that will say, well, this is crass, this is not the sort of thing that works for my act, and that's absolutely fine. If it doesn't work for your act, that's not a problem. I work in a lot of places, like military bases, where bringing out a pack of condoms is a great hook line, right? But this is one of the best way versions of the solid condom, of the solid through solid I've ever seen. We talked about the Chris James effect before. We talked about the heavy metal before, which is excellent. I do think this is a little bit better. It's more niche. Not everybody's going to want to do this with condoms. Like, for example, Ryland has got the AirPod version because he wouldn't be bringing out condoms, right? But for me, this condom thing is great. So first of all, you get a holder to hold it in, so you can have it in your just to your belt at your back, and it's held in place. That will automatically reset it. But the cool thing is, everything's examinable, like they are with a lot of these methods. You take the the needle, you put it through, and then you tip out this solid piece of metal. But the cool thing is, you can then put it back in there, and you can do it again. You can repeat it. I've never seen one of these before that you can repeat. Normally, you have to go away, reset it, but this repeats immediately. You can repeat it over and over again. But when you repeat it and you put the needle through again, now you can open up the side, and they can see that the metal really is in there. And yet it's penetrating right through. And as soon as you take it out, it's examinable. And just by putting it away, it resets it immediately. So from a practicality point of view, for a walk-around performer, this is great. It really is. Now, some people might not want to use condoms. That's fine. For me, I don't think it's a problem. In fact, I think it makes a more interesting hook. But I fell in love with this. The guy who created it, Magic Diamond, he showed it me outside of the Ruskin. And I just fell in love with it immediately. I thought this was great. So that's next on the list. It's Solid Condom by Magic Diamond. Okay, talking about slightly inappropriate material that won't work in every environment, you've got bag influence. Now, this was being displayed over on the Monster Magic stand. And this has won the official trick of the year at the Blackpool Magic Convention. So congratulations to you guys. And what it is, in essence, is a playing card that turns into a little bag full of white powder. Now, obviously, you guys know as well as me what that insinuates, right? Is this going to be suitable for a family show? Probably not. Is this going to be suitable for a kid's show? Definitely not. However, are there going to be places where you are going to perform where this would bring the absolute ever-loving house down? 100%. Are there magicians out there that are moaning and complaining about this and saying that it's an inappropriate subject matter? Yes. Is it going to be performed by everybody? No. However, the people that buy it are going to perform it and they're going to love it. I want to get one of these because I know that I would use this in certain environments. And a lot of amateurs or hobbyists that perform socially, if they're going down the pub with their mates, I can see this being very, very popular. You just pop it in your wallet, you have someone think of a card, boom, it turns into a little baggie. I got a chance to see the methodology behind it. I wanted to buy one, but they were all sold out. But I saw the methodology behind it. It's brilliant. It is such a really great trick. It's a great trick. It's a great idea. It's a practical method. It's perfect for a close-up performer, for a walk-around performer. It's great. It's one of the best things that I saw at Blackpool this year. It's wonderful. If you're looking for something different, then you might want to go for bag influence. It's really good. Okay, so we're going into the top four now. So in fourth place, I'm going to go for, because I've been going back and forth on this, I'm going to go for Spinception by Hao Jin. Now, this is the one that a lot of people were talking about, and it looks incredible. Basically, you have a coin, you put it in your hand, and it just starts spinning around. It reminded me of that old John Travolta film, I think it was called Phenomenon. where he's develops mind powers and he starts moving things with his mind. This is one of the strongest and cleanest kind of movement effects with your mind that I've ever seen. It doesn't use thread, it uses a different system. It reminds me of something that brought out a little while ago from the French twins, but this is way more practical. It's great, and a lot of people bought it. If you can work out a way of making this work in your act, this would be incredible. Now, I do know a lot of people have already been performing this on social media. This has become one of those big social media tricks that you go out and perform for everybody. It's great. It's really, really good. I would definitely do this. I didn't get a chance to pick it up because unfortunately it had sold out. I do want to get one. I don't know how I'm going to incorporate it into my act, but I think it would be very, very special. It definitely had people talking, and that's the ultimate goal of exhibiting at the Blackpool Magic Convention. Getting people talking about your product, and they definitely did that. It's very, very cool. Let's be honest, if you could really do magic, that's the sort of thing that you could do, right? If you could really do magic, you'd move something with your mind and make it look like real magic, and that's what's happening here. So my hat's off to these guys. Congratulations. Okay, so in third place, I'm going to go for the flying mask. Now, the flying mask was incredible. And I know it's very niche, and a lot of people are going to say, flying mask, really? But it's the thing that Ryland bought. He wanted to buy one big thing to include in his act, and he bought the flying mask. Now, the flying mask is incredible, absolutely incredible. So you get this suitcase, right? And the suitcase is all electronic, so you can have it open and close and smoke come out of it and kind of jangle around and open slowly, and it's all under your control the whole time. And then there's a mask in there, and the idea is that you take this mask out, and when you take this mask out, you can have it stick to your face and put it back in the thing and stick to your face, but then you can have it flying around. Its core principle is the zombie ball. However, it's a zombie ball that's been bought bang up to date, and the way that the mask is made makes moves possible that you wouldn't normally be able to do with a zombie ball, makes it look way more impressive because of how the trick works and because of how the system works. But you get everything with this. So you get a tutorial, you get the music to include with it, you get a full routine. You can obviously come up with your own routine as well. But it's beautiful. It's beautiful magic. It's fantastic. For a stage performer, this is worth its weight in gold and then some. Because this is going to allow you to come up with a very unique hook, a very unusual hook. Every aspect of this is brilliant. The methodology behind it is brilliant. The system behind it is brilliant. The thinking behind it is brilliant. The fact that you've got the case there as well. You've got absolutely everything. The smoke coming out. Ryland wants to make this a feature part of his act, and he's already started working on it. So I can't wait to see and share with you guys what Ryland's done. I know it's very niche. I know there's a lot of people out here that are like, why has he put this in the top, the top section? Is this, this is whatever it is. But this is brilliant. For me, this is one of the best things that I saw at the Blackpool Magic Convention this year. Okay, so in second place, we have Optics Pro by Tobias Dostal. Now, if you don't know, Optics was bought out by Tobias Dostal, an illusionist, many, many years ago. And it set the world on fire at the time. It was the thing that everybody was talking about. In essence, what Optics is you borrow a spectator's phone, you put the light on and you hold it here. You then give them your phone so they can film it, and they film you holding their phone, vanishing their phone, and then you say, well, I'm going to try and make it come back. And when they look in their hands, they're actually holding their own phone. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant trick. Absolutely amazing. Typical Tobias Dostal. Now, there's always been a bit of a problem with the vanish, because the vanish, Tobias made it look brilliant, but your mere mortal performers, it was a struggle for some people. So, Tobias has teamed up with Henry Harrius Presents, and the two of them together have come up with Optics Pro, which is basically a reimagining of Optics. This time, and I'm sure they won't mind me saying this, it's been put onto a pull. The gimmick has been put onto a pull, which makes the gimmick way more usable. It makes it almost self-working. Now, yes, you have to have a jacket on or something like that, but you would have to with the original routine anyway. But what this allows you to do is this allows the original Optics to now be usable by anybody. I mean, it's just brilliant, and A lot of people had this down as their best trick of the convention. It is incredible. So there you go. Optics Pro, Tobias Dostal, Henry Harrius. I can see a lot of people using this. I always wondered how you could make the original Optics better. And this is how you do it. This is brilliant. Well done, Tobias. Well done, Henry. And then you have the best trick of the Blackpool Magic Convention 2025. And this is interesting because last year, I gave the Blackpool Magic Convention Trick of the Year to Alakazam, to Bricked by Drew Perry. This year, I'm giving it to Alakazam as well. And I'm giving it to Alakazam because of Pierced by Simon Lipkin and Alakazam. Now, I know Alakazam brought out a ton of really great material. I didn't get a chance to see any of it. The only thing I got a chance to see was this. And this was something I knew I had to own. This was something I knew I had to have. Now, if you don't know what it is, it's typical Simon Lipkin genius. You bring out a tin. Inside the tin, there's some push pins. You take one of the push pins and you say that it's you bought it from a friend who creates special effects for movies. And you take the pin and you jab it into your neck, and it looks terrible. And then you realise, you show them that it's a retractable pin, a little bit like those old retractable knives. And you tell a story about how this was designed for a movie that came out years ago, whatever. You can justify it however you want to. And then you've basically got 5 pins. 4 retractable, 1 is real, and you're going to do smash and stab. So you're going to give them a choice of any pin, and you're going to stab it into your neck, into your hand, into their hand, wherever you want to, and you're left with 1 pin. They can take that final pin out, and that is the real pin. It is genius. It is amazing. It is fantastic. It is awesome. It takes smash and stab, and lots of people have tried to make smash and stab close up over the years. Wayne Dobson did it, and did it to a certain degree, but you still had to carry around a bunch of stuff, and you'd need a table in front of you. Well, Alakazam and Simon have managed to take the smash and stab type routine, make it the best version of the routine I've ever seen, and bring it into a close-up environment. Not that you couldn't do this on stage. I genuinely believe you could do this on stage. However, it's now able to be done close up. Everything's self-contained inside a tin. You're good to go. The gimmicks look incredible. You're given 10, it's typical Alakazam. They've thought through everything. And the routine is fantastic. Simon is amazing. Simon has become one of my favourite performers of all time. Simon Lipkin is what every magician should dream to become. Both in terms of style, in terms of look, in terms of just everything. And this trick is the best trick at the Blackpool Magic Convention 2025. I know it has now been released, and I would do whatever you can. It's not the cheapest thing. I think it's like 125 quid. But when you see how the gimmicks work, you will understand why it's that price. Beg, borrow, or steal them, because you want to get this in your life. Imagine having an incredible 7-minute routine that will literally bring the house down, and it's in a little tin that you can throw in your pocket. Well, that's what you've got with Pierced. It's incredible. So there you go, guys. That is the top 13 tricks from the Blackpool Magic Convention 2025. I want to say thank you to everybody that met me at Blackpool. Thank you to everyone that hung out with me. I was running around all over the place. If I didn't get a chance to speak to you, I'm very, very sorry. I'm hoping things will calm down for me at some point in the future. In fact, I'm willing to bet that they definitely will. But for now, I want to say thank you so much. I will see you again. There's going to be another video out next week about the Blackpool Magic Convention. And I'm just going to give you a recap of it in general, including everything. But until then, I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for joining me. My name's Craig, and this is Magic TV.